Hello, welcome to Studies in Theatre MOOC program once again. Today we are continuing our discussion from the last lecture that was on Parsi Theatre. So today we will continue something more about Parsi Theatre. So in our previous lecture we had talked about in what ways Parsi Theatre is the foundation of a lot of modern theatre traditions that are prevalent in our country. And it also has its contribution in cinema, although our concern is right now to not discuss cinema, but that is something we must always acknowledge when we are discussing theatre, because cinema is an allied discipline and a lot of things in theatre have been given and taken with cinema. So, Parsi Theatre forms the foundation, how it began, how it gave a professional look to the Indian performance space since 19th century. So, all these things were discussed in our previous discussion. So, today we will look at a little bit more about Parsi Theatre and what are the other aspects of Parsi Theatre that we should keep in mind while we are engaging with its components, its contribution and all kinds of issues. So it is sometimes also referred to as Gujarati Parsi Theatre or Parsi Gujarati Theatre, and it is so vibrant, it was so vibrant that it became it became a different kind of theatre culture within very short time. So the contributions that it has made are many, and its attributes are also very varied kind. The first one that I want to present here is multilingual nature of Parsi theatre. So because it has a blend of languages, it adopted multilingual texts, with the first Urdu book adapted into Parsi theatre being the Natak Sagar, which was written by Noor Ilahi and Muhammad Umar and published in 1924. This Urdu-based Parsi theatre productions was over a blend of Gujarati, Hindi and Awadhi. How interesting it is. And these were showcasing different registers of languages and representing multilingual ethos of our country. So the linguistic diversity allowed Parsi theatre to appeal to a broader audience, and across various linguistic and cultural backgrounds, Parsi theatre found its rooting very quickly. The term Parsi itself refers to the Zoroastrian community that primarily spoke Gujarati and also had Persian influences. This Persian influence could be seen not only in the themes and stories of Parsi theatre but also in the language used in the productions. Many Parsi theatre productions were adaptations or translations of European plays, particularly those from the British theatre. These adaptations often involved incorporating elements of English language and culture alongside Indian languages, creating a unique linguistic fusion on stage. While Gujarati was dominant language in Parsi theatre, the productions in other regions of India such as Calcutta, which is now Kolkata, and Lahore incorporated languages like Bangla, Punjabi and other languages respectively as per the different regions. So the structure of the plays allowed, or the spirit of the Parsi theatre allowed, an amalgam of various kinds of languages wherever it went in the entire country. So this created an outreach and engagement of diverse audiences. Spectators of very different kind could also always enjoy the performances. The language mix always catered to the linguistic preferences of different segments of the audience according to the region or the majority of the crowd, majority of the audience having belonged to a certain linguistic group. Its multilingualism helped Parsi theatre playing a role in fostering cultural syncretism in India, because Indian, Western and Persian cultures were mixed and fused in Parsi theatre. And this enriched the theatrical tapestry to a great extent, whereby cultural landscape appeared to have broadened. So these are some aspects of Parsi theatre which makes it, in my slides to come, I will show you more points about these. But this is the overall landscape. Now this Urdu book which I have talked about here, this is also something significant, because this holds a crucial place in Parsi theatre. It was one of the first books that was Urdu books that was adapted into vibrant theatre productions. This book's adaptation marked a notable convergence of Urdu literature and Parsi theatrical aesthetics, showcasing the versatility and adaptability of both the mediums. Urdu literature has been very adaptable, as well as Persian legend and Parsi theatre are also very adaptable. Natak Sagar is a collection of plays encompassing a range of themes from historical dramas to romantic tragedies, comedies and social commentaries. Its publication coincided with a period of burgeoning interests in Urdu literature and theatre, and particularly among the Parsi community in Bombay, which is called Mumbai. And Parsi theatre thrived mostly in Bombay and surrounding areas as a popular form of entertainment. The adaptation of Natak Sagar into Parsi theatre represented a significant departure from the tradition of adapting predominantly English and Gujarati plays. It opened new avenues for experimentation and innovation with the Parsi theatrical repertoire, introducing audiences to the rich literature and cultural heritage of Urdu literature. This process also involved translating the original Urdu text into a format suitable for Parsi theatre productions. This would often lead to modifying dialogues, scenes and characters to align with the stylistic conventions and linguistic preferences of Parsi theatre audience. This also means that music and sequences were integrated. Song sequences, music, dance, this was integrated into the adaptation to enhance the dramatic impact, and that was also the structure of the Parsi plays. So that very important change took place. One of the remarkable aspects of Natak Sagar is that its adaptation into Parsi theatre was very seamless, and it blended with the linguistic registers that were available in a very organic way. Urdu dialogues were interspersed with elements of Gujarati, Hindi and Awadhi language, and that reflected the multilingual ethos of the country. The themes which were explored in these kinds of plays were socio-cultural in nature, addressing the milieu, the time, like love, betrayal, social inequality, political intrigues, etc. These themes were brought to life on the Parsi theatre stage through captivating performances, elaborate costumes and melodious music. So this was very popular among the audience, and they were left enthralled when they would watch this. The success of Natak Sagar and its adaptation into Parsi theatre paved the way for subsequent collaborations between Urdu playwrights and Parsi theatre, and this was a very fruitful collaboration, because this not only led to the flourishment of Urdu literature and Urdu language, but it also created a very specific genre of writing in India that saw how performance impacted writing and how writing impacted performances both ways. So this was a very innovative field, very innovative outcome, and the dynamic exchange of ideas between the two fields was always a very important addition to the performance landscape. All in all, this therefore book is a very significant point of departure for the discussion of Parsi theatre. Now when you look at the cultural practice, Parsi theatre served as a symbol of inclusive cultural practice in India, because it accommodated and represented diverse linguistic, cultural and social backgrounds. It reflected a deep thought and love towards the great Indian populace, irrespective of caste, class, religion, culture or language. We discussed this aspect in the previous lecture also, that how in lot of ways this kind of theatre was looking to break away from various kinds of caste based interventions, or creed based interventions, or the societal structure that was represented in various kinds of uh, structures of theatre practice that was there, or indigenous theatre practice. So it broke away from those, and it was a fresh space where people could come together in the sense of equal people, having opportunities for everyone. Then Parsi theatre's role in freedom movement is one of the most important things that we must talk about this theatre, because the Natak Mandali and the Parsi theatre groups contributed a lot to the freedom movement. They would stage nationalist and socially realist dramas, and they served as source for inspiration for the broader Indian Bhasha theatre movement as well. Now, the first thing that we should underline about how this was a very fruitful collaboration, and how freedom movement benefited from Parsi theatre, was the cultural enlightenment that Parsi theatre provided. Because in a colonized society, in a colonized cultural space, people are having a low self-esteem, because a colonized subject always look up to the colonizer as the better one, and looks at herself or himself as useless, low self-esteem, or a wretched kind of a subject. So the assertion of identity can be done through cultural assimilation, cultural celebration, and these plays offered that enlightenment about our own culture. So they were a beacon of cultural awakening, spreading nationalist sentiments, fostering a sense of collective identity. Through plays like Savitri Satyavan by Dinsha Irani, which celebrated Indian mythology and heroism, it instilled pride in Indian heritage and aligning with the freedom movement's goals of reclaiming Indian identity from colonial influences. Then they also were plays which tried to offer a satirical or sarcastic resistance to the colonial policies, colonial issues. So it was because satire was a potent weapon, and this was used in Parsi theatre's arsenal. They used to lampoon colonial authorities and policies. Productions like Sakharam Binder by Vijay Tendulkar, though not only directly addressing colonialism, it employed satire to challenge societal norms and power structures, indirectly critiquing colonial rule and advocating for individual freedom and autonomy. This platform of Parsi theatre therefore transformed into a platform for dissent, and Parsi theatre had a lot of scope because it was very flexible to accommodate the anti-colonial sentiments. Another play, for example, the Andhar Yatra by Jayant Dalvi, which depicted the struggles of marginalized communities, subtly conveyed the themes of resistance against oppression, resonating with the broader spirit of freedom movement. And this Parsi theatre also mobilized people, because there were not many mediums of disseminating information and spreading messages. So this platform transformed into also a medium to disseminate a lot of messages and create mobilization among people and inspire people. For example, plays like Gagan Damama Bajio by Deena Pathak celebrated the lives of freedom fighters like Bhagat Singh, inspired audiences to join struggle for freedom, for independence movement, and this also served as rallying voices, mobilized support for the freedom movement, galvanized people to actively participate in against the colonial rule. Then assertion of identity therefore became possible through this kind of mobilizing and propaganda that the Parsi theatre had a scope of, and portrayal of Indian society and culture led to Parsi theatre promoting a sense of Indian identity and unity. Productions like Natrang by Anand Yadav, which depicted the rich culture of Indian dance forms, and and showcasing the diversity and vibrance of Indian cultural heritage. It reinforced the idea of a shared national identity among audience from the different parts of the country. So in its essence, Parsi theatre has had a very important role to play in independent movement. Then we move on to other aspect, and that is how it also led to the signification of cultural harmony, because Parsi theatre not only was working against the British but also working in order to unite the people of India. So inclusive themes in performances like Parsi theatre productions often featured themes promoting communal harmony, reflecting the diverse makeup of their audience and participants. Plays emphasizing communal harmony were performed across the major cities like Delhi, Lahore, Calcutta. They would always give messages of religious harmony, cultural collaboration, and the plays also sought to celebrate the composite culture of India, the harmonious culture of India that was available, that was there in different parts of the country. Like, Parsi theatre companies comprise individuals from various religious and cultural backgrounds, including Parsis, Hindus, Muslims, Anglo-Indians, and even the Jews from Baghdad. The inclusive nature of these theatre groups demonstrated a commitment to harmony and collaboration, because that gave people of in these kinds and these religions, these communities, to work together with very different kinds of people. And it was not easy for people to have access to diversity at that time, because traveling was too little, or railways was not there in far off corner of the country, and it was not accessible. Then number two, the medium of entertainment and information were very few and were limited in the hands of some of the rich people. So all in all, the platform became the platform of Parsi theatre became a place where a lot of positive things could be generated, and people could meet people of different communities, cultures and parts of the world, and giving them exposure and broadening their mental landscape about the world and its ways. Some of the examples of the famous Parsi plays are, the plays that I have been talking about, the different kinds of plays that I have been talking about. Rustam Ji Sohrab, that was in 1853. Rustam Ji Sohrab was an adaptation of the tragic Persian epic Shahnameh by Firdausi, very renowned text from Persian literature. This focused on the conflict between the Persian hero Rustam and his son Sohrab. So this was the beginning of Parsi theatre as a distinct theatrical form in India, because here the blend of Persian storytelling traditions with local Indian influence was done. So this was, you can see how India's theatre landscape is formed from the blending of so many performance cultures, so many adjoining legend cultures, Iran, Afghanistan, and Southeast Asia. All these you will find wherever you will explore theatre practices in India. You will find that all these cultures have played very important role. Then another play was Shakuntala in 1887. This was the adaptation of Bharatendu Harishchand's adaptation of Kalidas's play Abhigyan Shakuntalam, and it was one of the earliest attempts to incorporate Indian classical themes into Persian theatre. This play introduced the audiences to the beauty of Sanskrit literature and paved the way for future adaptations of Indian epics and Indian legends into Parsi theatre. Then Sindbad Jahazi, that is Sindbad the Sailor. This was in 1904, and it was a pioneering production that showcased the potential for innovation and experimentation in Parsi theatre. It introduced modern stagecraft techniques such as elaborate sets and the lighting effects, transforming the theatrical experiences for audiences into a very refined kind, because they had to show, sea problems and voyages. So a lot of lighting and other effects were used to create that impact. Then Sita Swayamvar in 1910. This play, based on the Ramayana, depicted the iconic scenes of Sita's Swayamvar, that is, Sita's marriage ceremony, where she chooses Lord Ram as her husband by garlanding him. This play highlighted the timeless themes of love, duty, and sacrifice from Indian mythology, connecting it with the audience across all cultural boundaries, because these epics are celebrated by Indians irrespective of their caste, creed, and religion. Then another play, Sinbad the Sailor in 1913 by Agha Hashr Kashmiri, was celebrated for its grandeur and spectacle. This production also featured lavish costumes, intricate sets, and innovative special effects, immersing audience in the fantastical world of Sinbad's adventures. Then the next play that is there is Anarkali. This adaptation of the tragic romance between Prince Salim, late Emperor Jahangir, and the court dancer Anarkali explored love, loyalty, and betrayal themes. It captivated audience with its emotional depth and dramatic storyline, becoming one of the popular plays in Parsi theatre. This is a very popular play in Parsi theatre. Then another play, Shakuntala, in 1926 was Prithviraj Kapoor's production of Shakuntala. It introduced a new era of realism and naturalism to Parsi theatre. This featured subtle acting performances, minimalist staging, departing from the grandiosity of earlier productions to focus on the psychological depth of the characters. Dilip Kumar Roy's musical plays in 1940s, Sindbad in the Land of the Giants, so another play. So Sindbad was a very popular subject for the Parsi theatre. This imaginative production transported audience to fantasy and adventure inspired by the Arabian Nights tales, and it also presented the creativity and innovation of Parsi theatre in a very unique way, pushing the boundaries of theatrical storytelling with its fantastical elements. Then Dilip Kumar Roy's musical plays were there in 1940s. He was a versatile playwright and composer and contributed several musical plays to theatre during this decade. His plays such as Narad, Shri Krishna Leela, Kalpataru combined Indian classical music with Western operatic influences. Operatic refers to opera, creating a unique fusion of musical styles. Kalakar, Agha Hashr Kashmiri's Kalakar provided a behind the scene glimpse into the world of Parsi theatre, exploring the struggles and aspirations of actors and artists. So this was a very modern kind of a play because it looked at the play writing, it looked at theatre as a juncture to explore various kinds of things, rather than just to listen to and watch the imaginative stories, but also about behind the scene kind of a thing. So this was a very modern kind of approach. In addition to this, you can see this beautiful picture that has survived, and I borrowed it from The Wire. This picture is a photograph of one of the early productions of Parsi theatre in India. And when we say Parsi theatre, we must also keep in mind that Parsi theatre is not simply about theatre that is led by somebody Parsi in the helm of affairs, because Parsi theatre became a genre in itself. It became a kind of tradition in itself. It's not about just Parsi connection or some kind of Parsi connection, but it became a genre, and that is why it's important to understand that even Prithviraj Kapoor was into Parsi theatre, and various kinds of people were there in Parsi theatre. The decline of Parsi theatre is a sad story because it does not exist anymore. We have lost it, and there are certain reasons for its decline. One of the important reasons is that there are so many fast changes taking place at that time in India as well as in the world, that it was not possible for Parsi theatre to compete with them. After independence, especially partition of India, Parsi theatre began to lose the momentum gradually. Partition led to various kinds of changes in the subcontinent. The mass migration of populations, including artists from regions affected by the partition, was the major reason. Many theatre practitioners who were predominantly based in Bombay, now Mumbai, faced challenges due to disruption. And the displacement of communities and the ensuing social upheaval had a significant impact on the infrastructure as well as patronage base of Parsi theatre, which led to a decline in productions and audiences attendance. Then there was a shift in societal dynamics. The socio-political dynamics were changed because the independence and partition created new era on both sides of the border, and cultural norms were also changing. India transitioned into a democratic republic. There was a growing emphasis on nation building and modernization. This shift in priorities led to changes in entertainment preferences, with audiences increasingly gravitating towards newer form of entertainment such as cinema and later on television, which offered obviously more convenience and more variety. The post-independence period witnessed a gradual process of a cultural assimilation, because the traditional forms of entertainment like Parsi theatre, they faced competition from other cultural trends influenced by Western and indigenous forms of expression in India. The influx of Western ideas, Western aesthetics, along with the proliferation of mass media, it posed challenges to the relevance and sustainability of Parsi theatre as a mainstream form of entertainment. The economic challenges faced by Parsi theatre, exacerbated by partition and independence, further contributed to its decline. Rising production costs coupled with dwindling audience members, this led to problems. And loss of talent and expertise, obviously, because people were migrating. The community of Parsi theatre groups started becoming little. Various artists were forced to leave their homes and take refuge in different parts of country, and where they were not participating in Parsi theatre anymore. So this loss of talent hit Parsi theatre very much, and it had its result on people. So after independence, these are the reasons. The psychological impact of division was also having an affective impact on the people, and the other things like political unrest, community confusion. So this led to a total debacle of Parsi theatre, and it lost its color and shine that once prevailed in earlier times. So the collective silence and psychological impact experienced by the Parsi community influenced their cultural productions and broader cultural life, because now cultural identity was not a question of fighting against the British, but cultural identity also became a question about who is Indian and how much are we Indian. So this kind of thing, took away that spirit of compositeness to a certain extent in Parsi theatre. It therefore lost people one by one on the basis of different reasons, and this activity, participation, inclusiveness, it marked a significant shift in the trajectory of Parsi theatre. It impacted its vibrance, it impacted its relevance in post-independence India, and so today we have lost Parsi theatre, although there are some productions which are done to revive and revisit the feel of Parsi theatre, but they are done only as matter of experimental theatre. This is a theatre that has not remained with us all through this journey. This is lost and gone, and it is a sad story. But all that is remaining is because of Parsi theatre, because Whatever Parsi Theatre initiated, it went on for in different directions, into cinema, into modern Hindi theatre, modern vernacular theatres, bhasha theatres, and they are definitely there. And so we can say a little bit of Parsi theatre's soul is present in all kinds of theatre practices of India at the moment. This much is about the discussion on Parsi theatre. Students, I hope you have enjoyed this discussion. Try to understand the significance of Parsi theatre for various purposes. Some of the books are there. I will be providing you entire discussions on books and resources on different kinds of aspects of theatre in a separate lecture dedicated for this purpose only. So don't worry for the titles of books and papers. I'll do that for you. These are the citations from the sources of the websites, and thank you very much.